Hello everybody and welcome back to the most inconsistent YouTube channel on the entire platform, but nevertheless we are back and with a bang! For me, you guys don't know yet, but you will by the end of this video, hopefully. We're here in round 2 at Bahrain, and Bahrain's always been one of those tracks where I think everyone kind of universally likes. I've never heard anyone that's been like, I really hate Bahrain. God. Apart from the endurance layout. Then fair enough, that layout is complete ass. So, the normal layout, perfectly fine. And I will drive this in most things with 4 wheels. It just works. And in these older F1 cars, of course, they've never driven around here in real life. But in this, they drive pretty well. And provide some really good racing as well, as you're going to see later on. But I've got some points to get some upgrades on the board, as I believe we are the 4th or 5th best car. Obviously, the tech tree in this is useless because it's not realistic at all. But anyway, we've got qualifying next, and it should be a good one. Aiming for at least a top 10, that would be very nice. But let's get into it. Well, it's a bit of a difficult car and setup combination here. There's a decent amount of high-speed stuff, and especially in these cars with the groove tyres, you need as much aero through those corners as you can get. But I decided, nah, let's go for lower downforces. I think the straight line speeds will help us during the race. It might be a bit pee-pee-poo-poo during qualifying, but I think the race definitely is going to be much more important for us in this type of championship, where we've basically got 3 other teams who are super close to us throughout this whole season. And, well, we basically have to take every point we can get. So that's exactly what we're going to do, is just making some last minute setup tweakings before we go onto our one and only lap of this qualifying session, as we begin hurtling down this main straight, hitting about 200 miles an hour just at the end of it. Even with the lowest downforce we can get, hard on the brakes for this first corner. Obviously the main overtaking point on the track, getting very oversteery on the exit. And the exit was so bad, in fact, we're down to 16th. So not ideal, but we'll keep going into turn 4 now. This is very difficult to get on the brakes and on the throttle, as you have to push the car all the way through. This middle part of Sector 1, pretty good, and in these cars this next bit's just not flat into this next hairpin. This you see a couple overtakes here every now and then if a car makes a mistake, but usually they're not. But this is definitely going to require a lot of finesse through there, as we saw Fernando Alonso do a sexy overtake on Lewis Hamilton last year. But you can easily lock up a front tyre, so we definitely do not want to do that. Into here now. This is one of the more forgettable corners on the track. It's just a bit awkward, to be honest. You're just waiting eagerly to get on throttle. And then this infamous corner. We've all done it on the F1 games. I think everyone knows what I'm on about. Into this right-hander, the second to last corner. It's a decent corner, but pretty tricky, as there's not really any braking markers there at all. And then towards the final corner, this one's pretty nip and tuck. It's fairly sweet. Hit the inside curb, bish bash bosh, get a good exit, and, well, hopefully it's going to be a good lap. Looks like we're going to get a top 8 at the moment, and we just snuck up to 7th there, I believe. And yes, we did. It's going to be 7th place for us, and that is good in a Sauber, where realistically, we should be maybe a bit lower down, but I'd say we did pretty well, considering Lacey qualified, what was it, 5th or 6th in round 1. He's 2 places down from where we are, but it should be a good race for the Sauber team, as 9th and 7th is a good starting point, and of course ahead of one of the Benettons and both Jordans, and ahead of a Williams as well. The Williams seems to be really struggling. But anyway, let's head into the race.
We're here again then at a circuit famous for its stunning visuals and thrilling battles for glory. Who will take the spotlight in the Bahrain Grand Prix today? There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best at turn 1 of course, and then another soon into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into the tight left-hander of turn 10.
Well, here we are then, lining up on the grid in our P7 slot, and I have high hopes for this race. As I said before, I quite like Bahrain. It's one of those tracks where I think most people like it. We're going for a 2-stop here, as Tydeg used to be. It just is fairly high round here, and well, on these grooved tyres, yeah, they're going to feel interesting to say the least. Low speed, not ideal. But anyway, as we wait for those 5 iconic red lights to go out, hopefully we can get a good start. Can we match the lights perfectly? And it's lights out and away we go, and we have a decent start, but just bogged down a little bit there as we shifted up gears, and so did Villeneuve. Both our teammate and Wirtz went straight past us. Into turn 1 we go. Villeneuve trying to sneak back up on our outside, then turns into the inside, and there's a safety car. There is a safety car out on track, and we've lost 3 places from where we started. A horrible start for us. Well, we're going to take a quick replay, and I think it was just everyone losing parts of their front wing. I don't think it was anything more than that, excuse me, but yeah, fairly short safety car. Then we're going to resume just a few laps later. And yeah, looked to be just front wings, just a lot of carbon fibre at the end of that main straight. And you can see here we're eagerly anticipating for the AI to go. They waited so long, and I think a couple of people pitted as well. That's why we're now up to 6th as we make our way past Villeneuve. And maybe can we do a little cheeky dive bomb on Frentzen into turn 1. Frentzen does lock up his front right tyre, but I think with our line we're not going to be able to get past him yet, but we're going to give it a good go anyway. And that is one of the back markers who's out the race. We'll take a look at that in a minute, but we're trying to overtake Frentzen. We go a bit deep into turn 4. We're definitely going to have to concede position there, and Frentzen goes back past us. We hold on to 6th though for now, but we can take a look at what happened on that restart then. And I believe this is one of the Arrows cars who, yeah, just plow into one another. That's typical backmarker stuff, really, isn't it? And yeah, it's we got Villeneuve. Oh, we've gone very deep into turn 10, and Villeneuve is going to try and snatch that one back from us as we fall down to 7th place. But we're going to fight back against the Williams around the outside. It's going to be a difficult overtake, but if we can get it done, it'll be a real statement on our part for the rest of this season, and we do get it done. And well, the defending world champion there, not holding up very well in his brand new red Williams at all. But now we're on the back of his teammate of Frentzen, who's currently in 5th. And the Williams cars really do not seem to be strong this season at all. A bit of a shame for them, as they had high hopes, of course, after last season, as Frentzen tries to go back up the inside, but then we have the inside for the next corner. We just squeeze him out, and we move up to the next few positions. And now we're on the back of our teammate and Wirtz, who are battling for 3rd and 2nd. And this isn't really for exact position. A couple of the front runners have already pit, but we're going to make our way past Wirtz. He seems to be going fairly slow, so fairly easy overtake there. And now the Saubers are running 2 and 3. That's not something you get to say very often now, is it? And well, we won't be complaining at all, but we went very, very long on our first pit stop. As you can see, we're in first, which, yeah, we should not be. I tried to extend this soft stint for as long as I could, and yeah, pretty much lap 13 was the max we can go, and on to the hard compound tyre we go, and we decided to change the strategy and go with a one stop, because the tyre wear was a little bit less than initially thought, so I thought, hey ho, let's just go for a one stop and see what happens. And coming out of the pits, I believe Lacey's going to be with a battle into turn one we go. We just about stay ahead, but we have absolutely no traction on these cold, hard tyres. We try to get a good exit. We are side by side with our own teammate. This is not ideal at all. And, well, Lacey's going to have the better line. And, of course, we're not going to fight our teammate too aggressively unless there is a really, really obvious chance to get past him, which in fact just a lap later we get, because Lacey is really struggling on those mediums, and well, we just breezed past our teammate. I don't think he fought that one too hard either, and into turn one we go. Is he going to try outbrake us? He does try to hold on to it, but we have the better line, and up into 6th place we go. It's looking good so far, and now we caught up to Barrichello fairly quickly. Of course, I don't think a Stewart should be up this high. He's gone very deep into turn 10. And well, we're going to try and attack him the best we can. And onto the inside we go. That's a fairly easy overtake. And before we even start braking, we're already pretty much fully ahead. So we're doing very, very well so far. And the race is looking to be as good as gold, mate. And as everyone else comes into pit, Hill, Irvine, and I think Schumacher will be pitting soon as well. Ralph, of course. We move up to 2nd place. So looking good so far, but then once the front runners come back through, yeah, we stood absolutely no chance. Here's Mika Hakkinen into turn 1, sending it up our inside, and of course we choose not to fight it, but he parks it on the apex, and we lose a part of our front wing. And, well, we don't choose to repair it because it's not hindering us too much. And we have such a big gap that it doesn't really matter. Here's Schumacher now going into turn 1. That's a Benetton that's out of the race. I think that's Fisichella. But Michael Schumacher goes through into 2nd place. We're still in 3rd for now. But, yeah, it's just a mechanical failure for the Benettons. And once again, their reliability seems to be not that great. I think it was Fisichella who retired last round as well, so still no finishes for him this season yet, so he'll definitely be wanting to improve over the next few rounds, and Benetton ought to fix their reliability. But here goes Coulthard on fresh mediums, and we just let him through because, again, not really much point fighting in McLaren, is there? So yeah, it's looking tough at the moment, and well, we should be able to hold on to 4th, but that's a safety car, and that is not at all what we needed. This is one of the Tyrrells and a Minardi. I believe this Tyrrell is... I've already forgotten the Tyrrell drivers from 1998. There was Rossett and someone else. I apologise. But, yeah, we come into pit because otherwise we're going to be left a sitting duck on old mediums and, well, half a front wing. So, it's best to pit because I genuinely think we would not have finished in the points if we didn't pit. So, fresh softs for the final 4 or 5 laps. And, of course, a new front wing should be able to help us. I think we're going to come back out in 8th, which isn't horrible, but not ideal. Could be worse. We might actually be 9th, which, yeah, that's very much not ideal. And yes, it will be 9th place in the end where we come out. And, well, compared to the fact we were in 4th, it's... Well, we've got a lot of work to do, let's just say that. But we're going to give it our damn best. And as we eagerly anticipate probably the last safety car restart of the day, as we cross the line, there's only 2 laps to go. We've got Wirtz all off our chuff as he tries to come back past. And he tries to go around outside. There's a lapped car of Nakano up in front, who's really causing a train here. We lose the place to Wirtz, but he gets a really bad exit. We try and fight him back. But as you can see there, we've lost 4th gear. and we just send it up the inside and managed to stay ahead of Alex Wirtz and Villeneuve, who was trying to attack us. Into this middle section we go, and that's Damon Hill, who's crashed, and he's out of the race. I think Wirtz and everyone else behind has crashed into him, and that is a huge accident there. That was about 4 or 5 cars involved. Here's what happened initially. That's our teammate he collided with, and then got hit by, that's Wirtz, then Villeneuve, then I think there's a Stewart behind him. Here's what it looked like from Alex Wirtz's POV, side by side with us, and then, yeah, absolutely nowhere to go. And, well, that's 2 or 3 more people out of the race, so, yeah, but really not ideal for us. And that's another car out of the race. That's one of the arrows, I think, into turn 1. And he's alongside, that's Ricardo Rossi. And, yeah, that's not a good way to end your day. Quite a lot of incidents on those final 2 laps. That safety car restart was absolutely chaotic. And, well, the fact that we lost a gear has really hindered our progress. We've now lost 5th gear, which means we come home in 8th place. Really not where we should have been. I believe Alesi finished up in 6th place. But it's still points. 8th place is still points. And, well, like I said at the start, we've got to take everything we can get.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
Well, that was a very interesting end to the race, wasn't it? I mean, that last safety car kind of buggered us up and also just made quite a few incidents happen. You had a couple people benefiting from it. Ralf Schumacher probably was the biggest benefactor in all of that. Our teammate also gained, I think he was 8th or 9th when the safety car came out, and he finished in 6th place, so yeah, it's a good result for him, and unfortunately, of course, for us, it was not to our benefit. And, well, not everything in Formula 1 always goes to your benefit, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So, but we're still in 4th place in the championship, which is pretty decent. But I mean, bear in mind there have only been 2 rounds, so let's all just keep our heads on, mate. But Jordan seem to be our main rivals this season, as Benetton seem to have reliability issues, actually it was Wirtz who was the one who had reliability issues in the first round. But yeah, looks like Jordan's going to be our fight this season. But, well, after an amazing round of Formula 1, I'll see you guys next time for the Malaysian Grand Prix.